So we were talking about Elvis a second ago. You said, 1976 Elvis.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get back to Louisiana. You start.
Yeah, 1 week in Louisiana is not bad, but 2 weeks, man.
Yeah, it's easy to.
You start looking like you might keel over on a toilet
How much?
or something.
You got the best boudin you could find in Scott or what?
Boudin's a tricky business, man. Like, it's changed. So it went from just go to Best Stop, it's the best, to now Billy's puts that damn pepper jack cheese in it.
Oh God, that sounds good.
And then, but I think right now, and it changes. My favorite boudin is just from A-Bears. The company does the specialty meats.
Oh yeah.
It's just good, man.
So if you're not from Louisiana and you're watching, they normally call it Hebert.
Oh yeah, well,
or Herbert sometimes when they think there's an R in the middle of it.
And they don't really know what boudin is, so you got to kind of. It's like rice and gravy and a condom.
Do you eat the condom?
I usually,
squeeze it out. Yeah.
Regardless,
I always feel like I waste a bunch. I have to dig it out with my fork.
Or the first bite you don't mind eating that latex, but then you're like, man, I don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's like, what are they putting that anyway?
So they have any boudin in Montana?
They got a couple Cajun restaurants. There was a dude that moved from
Abbeville.
Cool. It had a real nice Cajun restaurant called Tupelo in Whitefish. And then
the Whitefish is where it was at, location?
Yeah, Whitefish,
gotcha.
Montana. So I'm on the other side. I'm in East Glacier, Montana. But Montana, I don't know. I feel like we need to start somewhere else with that conversation and get there on the Lonesome
Oh, we will.
Trail.
We will.
But,
I just wanted to.
Montana right now is starting to be like, California a little bit. Like,
I got
at
you.
least the cities are. People that don't live there buy a house, don't live in it most of the year.
Yeah.
And it's making it harder for people that live there.
Yeah. So it's becoming more of a tourism. Since the show, I know we've talked about this in the past about Yellowstone.
Yeah. So like Yellowstone to Montana is what John Denver writing Rocky Mountain High is to Colorado.
Yeah.
And man, I still love it, but those wide open drives and those spaces that really do need to be protected and preserved, it's not looking good for, just because you've got it's supply and demand. Conversely, all these super wealthy people can't find them when it's 20 below on the east side of the park. So
I bet not. So on the west side, it doesn't get quite as cold.
The east, it doesn't get as cold. The east side's colder, windier, and I mean, most rich people are scared to go there because it's a reservation, poverty, things like that. But to me, the real beauty is in those places that are untouched and with people who've lived on that land for generations.
Yeah, there's spirit.
Yeah,
there's a spirit in that land.
Well, the whole east side of the park is called the Ceded Strip, and it was sold to the government in 1895 on a deal where, it was a treaty deal. None of the Blackfeet could speak English. We'll give you this, blah, blah, blah. But
might not have been in good faith.
I would say not. But the good thing about my daughter being Blackfeet and my lady is that if I want to go to the park, we don't have to pay to get in.
Okay.
And also, there is a lot of respect there between park staff and the reservation and Blackfeet Nation. There's some beautiful and tragic things there, but it's still like a place where you feel like you're free on the earth, like you're not stuck in traffic. You make whatever decision. You might pay the consequence for your decision. You can make
there's a lot of consequences over on the res. You never know. It's like it is literally still kind of the wild, wild west. I would bet.
Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah.
Bad decision can get you gone.
That's true.
Get you gone.
But the beauty of that land, that Ceded Strip, that's a place where after I hit that 18-wheeler going to Grand Isle, that's where I chose to heal up, and I feel like it's time for me to get back out there and tell my stories and get my music out, man. So
well, so let's back up. Yeah. So you were originally from Louisiana, and
yes, sir.
Tell us where you were born and raised and moved around or whatever.
So my parents are, my mom's from Scott, my dad's from Maurice, Louisiana, Lafayette. And
So all Lafayette, Acadiana area.
And then, my dad decided that he was going to get a job, move to the big city of Baton Rouge, man, back when Baton Rouge was booming. And, I grew up, in a place that's probably not a great neighborhood anymore, over by Bel Air High School.
Oh no!
And
no, you don't
things
go over
have
there.
changed. There ain't no Fun Fair Park. There ain't no Roller City. Those things that were really Baton Rouge that were like
The staples.
staples.
Yeah.
All that's changed. And
Now it's LSU pretty much.
yeah, and LSU.
It's great, but
that's been the one given that LSU's nice, but whatever. And then I think obviously, post Katrina, all of Louisiana, the demographic of all Louisiana changed a lot, and really like a lot of people that were in certain areas never returned.
Right.
And that for better or for worse. Later on, when I worked in the Chaffalot Basin for a long time for a gentleman named Greg Gerard, and I love to hear his perspective, not just on the swamp because we worked in the Chaffalot Basin. So
Yeah.
Greg. He called it the land of dead giants, but for me, it was like I'd never seen it. I get to,
So that first time experience was pretty amazing.
Well, growing up in Baton Rouge and then seeing, having a real connection with the earth and working.
What'd y'all do? Y'all dredged?
Well, he was a commercial crawfisherman was one thing,
Okay.
but he chose his crawfish spots by sunsets and sunrises because he's also a photographer. Another thing he did was interview. He wrote books about the last people that lived out in the swamp, and that's what I liked is getting to just hang out and converse and work with the folks that were there before us, and so
You've always had a connection. It sounds like to nature,
yeah,
to God, and God's gift.
yeah. I think that those
Connection
things are
to the land.
I don't always find
Sounds like it.
a lot of inspiration in the church as much as I do in nature, and so I still go to church, and I do at Cursillo and up in Montana, and I'll play music there, and
Yeah.
but I still feel like going out there and learning how to be self-sufficient, trying to teach those things, that's important, and also just like. Back in the day, if you wanted to live, you had to put in the work. And
Yeah.
I think that's
Yeah, I watched 1883 series the other day or last week. I finished it, and it was like I think the biggest tell for me was realizing just you died so easily out back then. Like people would just show up and kill you, and there was really no repercussions. Like the law was just not the same.
yeah.
And
It's
out
like-
there,
It's basically an idea,
yeah,
But the thing that gets people through hard times is also faith, So there's another series I really liked at Hell on Wheels.
I hadn't seen that one.
Oh man, that was a good one, dude. It's like the railroads coming together for the Golden Spike, and I'm sure they embellished all the characters, but it was cool. It seemed a lot like it may have been back there
Yeah.
or back then. And then
So you graduated high school in Baton
Yeah.
Rouge?
I went to several high schools. I was you heard the song Juvenile Delinquent.
Oh yeah.
A lot of it went like that. My parents, my mom had a lot of mental health issues growing up, and so I was always like going from here to there. And then my parents divorced, and after that, man, I just kind of wanted to hang out with my friends because that stability just wasn't there, And so
Yeah.
it was like stayed at my friends through high school. I never got great or terrible grades. I just always kind of getting by.
Yeah.
Didn't know what I wanted to do, but I just didn't want to do what everybody's telling me to do for sure. And then I moved to Lafayette and went to Acadiana High and made the baseball team my senior year, and didn't play all that much, but it felt good to be like,
Yeah, part of a team.
be back on a team somehow. And not, by yourself. And then I went to USL when it was still USL, and that was cool, finished up. And
good for you.
But I never, it was really like the people that I meet, the people I'd work with, where it was like making guitar straps in a leather shop or whatever, working in a basin. And I didn't figure out what I wanted to do until after college. I'd worked in all the bars in Lafayette, like the Keg and some other place downtown. And it was after that when I figured out that I was a songwriter. And that actually the process of finishing a thought about a subject was somehow like therapy to me. Like I had dealt with the subject once.
Yeah, some resolve.
Yeah. So then I started doing more stuff for groups or people or causes I thought were important, whether that made me any money. Put myself through school on the GI Bill, through the Guard.
So you joined the Guard before USL, or?
Right in the middle. I think I did a semester or two. I was like, man, my dad's
you got to pay for some of this somehow.
My dad's like, I think you're going to have to pay for that, boy. And I was like, well, I guess I got to join the Guard.
Yeah, same.
So, I wasn't doing terrible, but I wasn't lighting up the old, it was all right. I just it wasn't that important. I was just going to college to get a college degree and nothing else.
Yeah.
And then, so storytelling, whether it's film or writing songs, even if you're just trying to convince somebody or something or put them in a mood or whatever, people listen to a 2-minute, 30-second song a lot easier than you can even talk to them,
Yeah.
I don't think people listen to anything.
It's a gateway to the soul.
Exactly. So yeah, man, opened a bar, shut it down after college, moved to Austin for a year, was writing okay songs, couldn't play guitar yet.
Really?
Figured that 8 months in Austin was about enough. But I did connect with I worked at this place called Threadgills, and I kind of found the history of it, and was listening to a lot of Towns and Blaze Foley, which was depressing in itself.
Billy Joe Shaver.
Oh, Billy Joe Shavis. Yeah, we got him one time. We got Billy Joe a gig at El Cido's Zydeco Club.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got to hang with him?
Yeah, I somewhere I have an interview with him. He was real cool.
Oh gosh, that's awesome.
What I liked about Billy, well, one morning, we've seen him play at Chelsea's a few times.
Yeah.
Rarely do you get to see a songwriter of that caliber at a local place, but also the fact that Billy Joe was just a down-to-earth dude.
Mm-hmm.
And he would take the time for other songwriters. That was awesome.
Got away with murder.
Yeah. Where do you want it?
Or got away with attempted murder. I'm sorry.
Well, yeah,
Excuse me, we said that right.
Man. Yeah, you got all those people in your corner. I guess in Texas you can get away with whatever.
Yeah, Willie was at the trial.
I think Robert
got a buddy. You know Monty Russell in North Louisiana?
Yeah.
I love Monty. Monty was at that trial too.
Really?
Yeah, he was sitting next to Willie. Yeah, man, that's a crazy story. Stabbed a man, got away with it.
Yeah, I think he shot him in the face.
He shot him. Yeah, I knew.
The last thing he said was, "Where do you want it?"
Oh, that's right.
So Dale Watson wrote that song, "Where Do You Want It?" Man, you should play that now. That's incredible.
Shot him in the face and he got away with it.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? He's gone now, so it don't really matter. But he was an outlaw of outlaws. I think the outlaws looked up to Billy Joe.
Well, he told Waylon he was going to whip his ass if he didn't record them songs. And Waylon's like, hold on, dude. There's a bunch of bikers here. They really will kill you, man. Just chill out. And but, Honky Tonk Heroes, that's every song's a Billy Joe Shaver song. And he got arguably the best country singer in the world to sing them, and he lived that life. I mean,
yeah,
he had addiction. He had struggles. You think he married his wife half dozen times or something? I don't know. But yeah, there was one Sunday. It was him and a dude, Bobby Brown, were sitting at Threadgills, and Billy Joe, he's got a couple nubs on one, and he had this little small-bodied Gibson, dude. He played all his stuff, and it was incredible. Nobody else, just them two. And it was a gospel brunch, and you could feel that his faith was the thing that kept pulling him out of his own BS, you know?
Yeah.
And so anyway, got him to play. I wasn't there. I was on the road. I was roadieing for my buddy who was opening up for Hank 3 for a few months. And so I talked to Billy Joe's drummer, and I said, man, I'm going to get y'all a gig. And there was one promoter in Lafayette, and he usually would play there, but I just thought it'd be cool if Billy Joe played at the Zydeco Club, because I always wanted to play there, and it's cool, you know. And
Yeah.
this guy, El Cido, who just recently passed, he's a lot like Billy Joe. He's like, except he's got a cowboy hat with a jerry curl, you know. And
Let's Lafayette.
but he also had a gun at all times.
Oh yeah.
And or a couple of guns on him, and he had the one stop, and you know he's from us. His family all played with like Clifton Chenier and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, it was awesome. But anyway, Billy Joe gets up on the first song, and it's a rough night because I don't think anybody showed up, and it's in the middle of nowhere, and country music fans don't usually go to Zydeco clubs and all that. So that was probably not the smartest place to have him play.
Yeah.
But Mike Dean and my buddy Troy opened up for him.
I love
and
Mike.
Mike said, man, he said, Drew, you know how Sid has his own PA there? Well, they also had the PA up here. So Billy Joe goes in the first song, and Sid introduces him while he's about to start singing. And so he's about to, you know, sing that first thing, and Sid's like, Billy Joe Chavis, world famous country western singer. Kind of scared Billy Joe and like freaked him out a little bit. And you know, he said it went fine. I mean, they probably didn't make anything that night, and he wasn't making a lot back then either. But
Yeah.
man, you know, those are the kind of experiences, whether you get to open up or one of your friends.
You kind of lived it through Mike.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And Mike told the story cooler than I could have, you know.
Yeah.
And we
I love
always
Mike.
called him Billy Joe Chavis after that, man. 'Cause, but the thing is, you know, Sid knew music.
Yeah.
He knew them old country songs, and they meant something to him. And in fact, a lot of my heroes, like that play blues or Zydeco, they love country music. Like,
Oh yeah.
we had old Lazy Lester play at this other place I had, and man, he just wanted to sing Merle Haggard songs all night, dude. And Lester would just sit there with his harmonica singing "Sing Me Back Home" or something.
Yeah.
And
That's cool, man.
it was awesome.
Yeah, there's a guy in Lake Charles that owned a club. Wayne Harden owned Wayne and Lane's. They used to be Lane and Wayne's. They're brothers, they're twins, and then at some point they switched the names around, and moved locations. But they just recently closed, like 2 months ago, literally. And Wayne would bring in Texas country, like Jason Boland and other guys from out in Texas, and he really appreciated it. He got it, you know. He got
Did you get to meet a lot of those kind of guys, like in Nashville?
Jason, I opened up for Jason in Albuquerque one time, and it was a great story. I mean, there's a lot of weed and a lot of fun.
Yeah.
We so we're on like a 3-month journey, you know, out west. So we would play clubs for a week at a time or 2 weeks at a time, and they'd house us for the whole week. That's how it would work. And, you know, we're not making shit. So it was, so we played in this place called Cowboys out in Albuquerque, and it was a 3-nighter. And Saturday night, I'll never forget, they're like, oh, we got this guy, Jason Boland, and the Stragglers coming in. I'm like, who the fuck is that? If he's not on Nashville stuff, I didn't know who the hell, you know, unless it was Randy Rogers or maybe, you know, Pat Green, somebody at that level, Corey Morrow, whatever. But no, I didn't know Jason at all. So they came in, they had a Silver Eagle, you know, so I'm in a little short RV, and they got a Silver Eagle. I'm like, well, hell, and they got a crew and unload and all this stuff. And you know how Texas guys, man, they do it right, dude.
Yeah,
they got the scene down, and I don't know how they afford it all. Maybe their buddies just come along for the ride.
Yeah, I don't know, man.
But they had a new fiddle player who I think is still with them. At that night, it was his first night, and so they set up. We, you know, because we pulled everything, and then we kind of set up in front of them for that night.
Right,
you know?
right.
And then afterwards, after they got done sound checking, they were like, "Y'all want to go eat with us?" So we hopped on their bus and rolled to this really good spaghetti place, and they bought us dinner. And I was like, holy shit, this is some cool dudes, bro. Cool. Got up with him and sang that night. We had a good time. I didn't, you know, I don't know a lot of those songs, so I felt kind of stupid. You know, I didn't feel like a poser, if you want to call it. But he was really cool, really nice. Brad Rice, the drummer, and I ended up becoming friends later. And, you know, he's since left the group. But just really the genuine people. And that's the one thing I realized Even later, when I was on Nashville Star, I had gone and seen him play, and I bought a T-shirt, and I wore it on the TV show, and I was like, hey, I'm going to wear y'all's T-shirt on the TV show, because it was on national TV, so I was excited to be able to feel connected to that in some way, shape, and form. But Jason's still doing his thing, man. I mean, he's Hall of Fame, and at this point, in my opinion, he's part of that. You know?
Yeah,
they were part of the New Brunswick, like commune thing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had that one album in Radio Free Texas, bought a bunch of copies and gave it to all their subscribers at that time when people were still listening to CDs, and I was never able to like really put any money behind it, which is probably a mistake, but you know when you're close and you just can't kick the door down and you know you got a shot. I just
and it's affordable in Texas now. Yeah. Like $3,500, $5,000 a single, you can probably do now. Whereas now,
does that even get you your $5,000 back? That's the thing.
You got to go out and earn that back. And you'll have to go out and do radio visits and do all the jingle jangle, the stuff that we have to do.
Yeah.
But I think it just depends on, in my opinion, what the goal is for you. If it's to put out a record and get people to listen, then just keep putting out the record and finding the people that'll help you do the other stuff.
Yeah, I feel like
don't sweat the other stuff.
Yeah, but I feel like you even got to do the PR in house now. It's just so.
Well, that's what I mean. Find the people in house to do it.
Because, man, I mean, how do you even get on that same playing field? And I still struggle with that because you feel like your stuff's as good as anybody else, and I don't know if it's a jury or peers, the general public. But if you never have a shot at it because you never get a publicist that can get you airplay, then how do you even know? You know.
Well, and
you just got to keep rolling with it, right?
I learned a lot when I had $250,000 to spend.
And that Nashville Star thing was a big bump, man. That
was huge,
cool.
Huge, changed everything.
So
I never got a record deal though.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I never could get a record deal. What I did is after we shopped for a major record deal, it was over, and it was like, okay, because once you take your swing in Nashville, you kind of take your swing. They know who you are at that point. They've sized you up for whatever they want, wherever they want to place you in that place.
But there's so many record labels, you couldn't just jump across the street and say, hey.
Well, we were going for majors and a few like Broken Bow, like the indies, and actually we had a lot of interest. I never had an issue with like, hey, can he sing? That was never an issue. Yeah. It was more about, is he country? And so for me,
the thing is, the difference is,
and now it's different than it was back then.
There was no Isbells, Stapletons. Right. There was nobody that broke through that was just telling the truth. It was just like there was a, 600-700 staff writers and everybody taking those songs and regurgitating them in a studio with the same musicians, right? And now it feels.
I never thought of it like that. I think it changed. So I put that record out, and so what had happened was when we went in and cut the record before we got the deal.
Okay.
And so someone had put up some money and to do that. Manager I was working with, who was managing some
that's
other
the problem
major
right
acts.
there. They didn't get to create those songs and be part of the process, though.
No, I don't think that was it.
Huh. Okay.
I think it was I could look back and go, I think it was this, that, and the other, but does it really matter? Because the truth is most of the people that did get record deals ended up either getting shelved, tried, and it didn't work, or COVID came along. And when COVID came along, it changed the outlook on it huge for me, because at that point, my overhead was way down here, and their overhead was way up here, and all I had to do was maintain a little overhead as an artist.
Well, what I'm saying is,
I think it happened the way it was supposed to.
You had a record deal this whole time, but you were being pressured to record songs you weren't really liking with people you kind of wouldn't have recorded with otherwise. Would that even been what you?
100% that would have happened.
So would that have even been you, even though your name would be on them CDs? That's because you get 10 years down the line.
And I think there's already some of that for me. Like I already have some of my records in the past. I feel there were songs that were put on the record that weren't my choice, but I don't criticize who was choosing that because they were paying for it most of the time.
Yeah,
so,
no doubt. But
and I ended up with the record in my hand, like owning it. And so I think for me, it's all been, I'm 47. How old are you?
I'm 51, man. I'm old.
So you're 51. I think, when record labels look at guys our age, they think scale. Who is the demographic of the scalable country music fan? Mm-hmm. They're not interested typically in 51-year-old men or 47-year-old men.
That's true.
Most of the demographic in country radio is looking for those 21, 22-year-olds. And so I look at it as, hey, let me take all the experience we've had and keep making records just because I love to make records. I do feel like there's skills in our team and what we've built here that, we have experience, a lot of experience combined that brings publicity from Susie's standpoint, who's had a lot of success on her world. My standpoint in understanding the structural and how to take it from scratch to finish, meaning a song from idea, writing it, recording it, putting it on the radio, processing a radio single, spending $100,000 on a single. I mean,
even going on radio now is completely different, right? Like, people know who you are.
You might want to pull that back just a hair, the microphone. Just pull it towards you a little bit.
But I mean, going on radio, people know who you are now.
I don't know about that. No. I mean, I actually don't think that's the case. I think so. Radio people the only guys that would remember me would be the guys that were there in 2011. And so they do because I still subscribe to the what I call the online cheerleader for radio. It's called Country Air Check. Okay. And that's Nashville's online, Lon Helton, that had Lon Helton's Country Countdown for years.
So let me ask you a question. You put out a single. How do you get it to DJs now?
It's called, there's a service that you would pay for.
What is the one that you use called?
Shoot, and now you're going to ask me right now. And
there was one called Airplay Direct that
So Airplay Direct does, but that's not the one that I would use. I get their emails too. Shoot, man. Right now I'm
It's all right.
It's breaking my memory. I'll tell you, but I want to.
Because what I'm thinking is like we're kind of talking not just for ourselves, but for older folks like us that are still doing it. And
that's what I want to make sure. If I can remember the name of it, I'll remember it. But what you got to understand is what people need to understand is they're all, everything's based on charts. So you've got media-based charts, which are your top charts. That's what all the Billboard has their own chart, but. Like, so award shows, CMA, ACMs, and stuff like that, those are all based off of the media-based charts. So, like, if you have a number one single, it's the number one in media-based stations. So all our stations here are media-based, both country stations. The one in New Orleans, it's 99.3, The Dog. Is that right?
Yeah.
So my friend Stephanie Christ, who I love to death, is no longer there, but she was there for years.
Right.
They're a media-based station. And then, of course, and they're ranked in starts with Chicago and Miami and New York. Those are in LA. Those are in San Diego. Those are your top stations. And then they're like Baton Rouge falls at 87 and 86. They're next to each other typically. And so what you do is you submit your single through this server, and basically you pay, used to be $750. Now I'm sure it's more. You would pay for the service. and they would put it on their server, and then it goes out. It's accessible to them through the server. Play MPE is the name of it. Play MPE.
So they had sent me when I
finally remembered.
Play MPE. Yeah, that's out of my.
And I have a relationship with them already. I've spent money with them already.
For this current record, and I don't know that I have any super. Country songs that would be worth even doing that, But when I was on Warner, I had a song went viral, and we did a charity single.
Yeah.
And I had to sign this big old contract that really, that was the 360 deals were starting to come in. I was like, wow, I'm going to sign it because it's a topical thing about this oil spill. And, I was on the Gulf Coast doing a film about the long-term health of the Gulf and the plight of commercial fishing families through all that. And I was more worried about the public health issue than I was my song or my career. And so, we were bringing sick people back and forth to D.C. to meet with experts. NIH was studying this, and But as long as, depending on who pays for it, it's how the study's going to come out regardless and all that. None of that mattered. But what I was interested in is how when Warner sent me to pitch that single, it wasn't going to go for. And part of that was because Warner was later bought by a Russian oligarch that ran BP Russia and all that. But that's another whole conversation. But bringing me to those stations and realizing there's dudes that work songs for a whole year before they get high on the charts, and that those songs, some of them
That's
are
$1 million,
not
by the
even
way.
good. They're not even good songs, but they push them so hard. Eventually, they'll break the top 10, and then somebody can say, "Man, I got a top 10 song." Well,
yeah, I've watched the process, and I've worked on it on a lot, both sides, because there's times where I've hired artists that were coming in to do radio visits, and they were moving from what's called low rotation to medium rotation. And so when they're making that transition from a low to a medium, where they're getting more than just 2 play spins a week, they go from that to. So it used to be, again, back, I'm talking 10 years ago, if not more, it was $1 million to have a number one. And that's $1 million just towards that single. That's not creating that record label, you're talking about a $10 to $20 million investment if you're trying to come in as an independent label and break an independent single.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is
and I've seen
much
tons
less about
of people
the quality of the song than how much money is behind the song. And that seems like an injustice or a way that it doesn't work.
Or relationships.
Yeah.
And investments. Like, think about from a standpoint, you've really only got, I can only name 2, 3 right now in Nashville, independent labels that are on the charts in a larger way. And I don't mean like when Tim McGraw leaves Curb and he goes and starts his own label. Mm-hmm. That's not the same thing as 30 Tigers, who had 3 top 5 singles this week I saw.
Well, was that Americana or was that mainstream?
They're more Americana based. They have Kristen Diablo out of New Orleans. Yeah. They had Jason Isbell. They have, they're on the American, and that guy right there, David Macias, did my first radio training. I sat down with him to talk about how to do a radio visit. We paid for that service. And I've thought about going to him as an older artist and saying, hey, but a guy like him is going to say, you have to have a built audience already before you come to me. And that's where TikTok, true. And we have to start really pushing. And this is a way longer conversation that we can have right now. But
the crux of it is this. The more I knew about how it actually worked, the less I wanted to be a part of it.
Of course.
The less
how many artists say
anything to do with it.
I can't tell you how many of us feel that way.
And so it's like, look, dude, is this about the song? Is this about the cause? Is this about your talent? No.
Not at all.
It's about you're part of some machine that spits out dudes like you all the time. And most of them, their stuff never even hits the airwaves.
And every once in a while, you find a Morgan Wallen dude, because I'm going to tell you right now, you watch that guy's audition on The Voice. When he auditioned for The Voice, before he was Morgan Wallen, and he was that same talent then that he is, and you watch his swagger and his confidence and his ability to really connect with an audience like he does, bro. Mm-hmm. It's talent. You can't take that away. Plus, him and Ernest, Post Malone, but I don't love the Post Malone songs as much as I really love what he does with Ernest, with Josh Thompson. He has a little small core of writers that he writes with.
I just don't listen to any of it, to tell you the truth. Well, I listen to Slim Harpo, man.
Well, I'm not saying that you should.
But I wonder.
I'm saying there is talent that slips through the mold of, like, you got to be a Belmont student that graduates with money. You have to put up your own money to get your demos cut. Yeah. Like, there's a lot of stuff that's happened in the industry that people don't know about. I've watched the majority of your record label people, 90% of them graduated from the universities within 30 miles of Nashville.
Really?
So MTSU, Hardy went to MTSU, and a lot of them are from Nashville. They're kids of people who have grown up in the business. Wow. They're great talents. There's a lot of really talented people there. I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm just saying there's a difference when you grow up in Green Hills and when you grow up outside of that. Now, I've seen the opposite happen too. We have a guy from Baton Rouge, that went up there and really made an incredible career for himself, Benji Davis. Benji's an incredible songwriter. He wrote The Painter for Cody Johnson. Incredible song. And song of the year.
Davis project.
Yeah, man. You remember Benji?
I just remember him being really good at connecting with people.
That's what I'm saying. And he's not even an artist. He's just, he doesn't consider himself, he wants to be a songwriter.
That's cool.
And I'm going, nah, that dude's a star. Like, he's a star. And you could see it. And sometimes it just is that way. I mean, you never know. I've just come to the conclusion that I've accepted wherever I'm supposed to be. I'm just going to keep pumping it out, keep pushing out music, keep writing songs with you.
Man, I tell you what.
I
think you're onto something with this soldier stuff, man.
So let's talk about what we did
a
little bit last week. So the reason you're here is because, you reached out to me and started kind of, hey, I'm interested in chatting with you. I want to come back to Baton Rouge, do some stuff, maybe bring you to Montana, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, man.
That's where it started. And then
seeing you hustle this around the state capitol.
Yeah.
And care about this and knowing how much effort it takes to make a nonprofit, that's all great. But seeing how it really helped the guys that we wrote that song with the other day.
That's a whole nother story, isn't it?
That was like, oh man, it's pretty good. And but
it's true though.
Because that like I alluded to earlier, songwriters, that's my therapy for dealing with life. And once you are able to process your grief and put it in a song, it don't matter what kind of song it is, dude. Because if it's a good song, it could be a country song, it could be a blues song, it could be a rock song. You just change a few things up.
Yeah.
But to go in there and meet those gentlemen and also to really understand the process and the why we were there to begin with,
Yeah. Really means a lot.
That was cool. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Man.
Well, I'm glad that you're here. So we had 6 guys with us, I think. Yeah. And this population of veterans they were all in an inpatient rehabilitation program. So they had to be there for 30 days. And I'm sure some of them were court mandated. Typically that's the case. We work with a lot of different veterans. Sometimes it's older veterans that are in nursing homes. Sometimes it's just random veterans that are living in the public, out in the world. And I think this work is not, exclusive to veterans, but for me in my capacity, it made sense, as a veteran myself. So Mike Dean is a veteran. We need to have him doing this.
Yeah.
He needs to be with us.
Today, and I told him, I think you're going to be great at it. And, we'll figure out how to make that happen.
Yeah.
I think, the whole thing though is like, whether it's us helping those guys or helping ourselves or hopefully those guys helping themselves, it's like, how do you take that trauma and turn it into something positive?
Yeah.
For all of it.
Well, we're going to do that tomorrow.
So, man. So
we're going to the studio tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's going to be badass, bro.
Yeah, we got
small band. We don't need a big band. My
boy's bringing we got some heavy hitters, and
he's got electric dobro. He's bringing.
Wow.
Yeah, and so he told me he doesn't have a slide guitar, but a lap steel, but he's got electric dobro, and I bet he can. Dude, it's gonna be killer, bro.
So yeah, we got. I know I got one of my big heroes going to be there tomorrow. Lee Allen Zeno, who played with Buckwheat Zydeco, and he played on some Charlie Rich record in New Orleans, and
that's cool.
He's done a bunch of cool stuff, but more than anything, man, like he's just a groove master, dude. That little J.J. Kell stuff. It's gonna be great.
That's cool.
So
we'll give that. What we'll do is just for the audience to understand. After we wrote the song with them, so we shared. Yeah. You shared your story. I shared my story. They all shared their stories, and we had our great partner Susan Mustafa in the back doing her tracking everything. And
she fed me about 12 donuts, dude.
Yeah, I don't think she fed you. I think you kept walking over to them things.
She just kept saying, "Sure you don't want a donut?" I was like, "No, I need 2 of those."
Yeah, well, and we did. That's one of the things about the workshops is that we spend the money on the veterans. We want it to be about them, so we feed them well. They ate steaks and potatoes, and they were like, and vegetables, and they don't get no steak and potatoes in that rehabilitation hospital.
It was very Shawshank Redemption, dude. It was great.
Yeah, but we, so after they shared, you ended up helping us develop the song, and then together we all write the song, and they chimed in with ideas, and they had good ideas too, man. It was really cool. And then so we'll record it tomorrow, and then we'll deliver them a copy, both physical copies and digital copies, so that they can retain that and keep those for themselves and be able to listen to it and just go back to them whenever hey man, look how cool, look what I did. Yeah. Look what we worked on. And I mean, I think, and you probably think this, I don't think songwriting is that difficult. Because it's like anything. You ride a bicycle, you learn how to ride it, and it kind of becomes natural.
It's difficult when you're forced to, it's when you can concentrate on it, something you care about, it's effortless, I think.
I mean, it's a blessing, though.
I don't know if it...
Being able to do it.
Sitting in a room with other people, how that would work. But these cats, they all had good input, and it was fun,
Yeah. Well, we got some great feedback, man. On Friday... So we did it on Wednesday of last week. By Friday, we got an email from the lady over there at the hospital, and she said they were still talking about it, and that one guy had mentioned, he never had an experience like that at that hospital. So just, thank you for being a part of that in general. I'm really confident in this work because it's not really my work. Yeah. This is God's work. It's like we're here, and I'm the biggest hypocrite. So I'm not one to go, hey, I'm not a sinner, and I'm over here preaching. No, we're just doing what God lead me to do. You're doing what God's led you to do, and on the way we're trying to stay as clean and healthy as possible. Yeah, sometimes I fall off that ship, but it's good to have this kind of work to even remind. You said helping ourselves, dude. Selfishly, all the time I leave those workshops, and I'm like, I needed that so bad for me. Yeah. Because that morning I was ready to just like, why am I doing this? And then I leave there, and I'm like, this is amazing. I'm so glad I did this.
You got a pretty good helper too, man. She kind of keeps the boat from
tipping over for sure.
So yeah, man, and I think being back in Louisiana for me, man, I mean, I'll be honest, man, part of me going to Montana was not just that wreck, man. I had a sister that took her life, and
well, tell us about this wreck, because I don't know much. You mentioned it before to me, but I heard you talk about it.
So I spent years out there, that oil spill, and
in South Louisiana, down in
South Plaquemine, Grand Isle, and basically all these folks that we kind of, if you got like a cause. You got organizations behind it, like the Commercial Shrimping Organization or this or that, and everybody's got their, I don't know,
the associations,
like their own lobbyist for this or that. So we went to D.C. with sick people, tried to at least get them to recognize that the fishermen that were cleaning this stuff were getting sprayed with that Corexit, and that the Corexit made the oil 50 times as toxic. So you're cleaning something up that's going to have an effect. And a lot of these people just died, never got their settlement. I guess that's part of it. I mean, our legal system does one of two things. It takes your time or it takes your money. And a corporation is allegedly an individual now, So while Open 90, the body of laws that protect us from oil spills, they hold the perpetrator responsible, they do put the criminal in charge of the crime scene because that's who has the money, right? Mm-hmm. So
yeah, it doesn't seem real ethical.
We live in Louisiana, man. So
have you seen the stack of law books in Louisiana compared to the rest of the states?
Yeah. So, coming down to the bear, the end of it was just like watching the last people that could almost make a living off the land lose that ability, and their kids not be able to go and be fishermen because the price of gas or whatever. I mean, it was already happening in the Atchafalaya Basin where I work with Greg. Like, the next generation wasn't going out to catch wild crawfish because you're dependent on the tides, how much, not the tides, but how much water comes down the Atchafalaya. Mm-hmm. And you're also, water quality and all these things. And it was just that with way more things that could go wrong. And so, because man, if you're a commercial crawfish fisherman, it's kind of like being a farmer. You got to be like a lawyer, an accountant, a mechanic.
Yeah. And a hell of a fisherman.
A great fisherman, and you also got to be lucky, you know? And, you know, trying to provide for your family and doing something that's harder and harder to do every year. Because also the state puts more limitations on them. In fact, you know, these guys got to blame for all these turtles dying when the oil was coming in. And then they made them put monitors on our boats when, you know, was it the oil killing the turtles or were the fishermen killing the turtles? Come on, dude. They weren't even out there, you know? So it just seems like they have taken some strides, and maybe the tariff thing on this particular deal, like Louisiana crawfish, Louisiana shrimp, maybe it'll help them, you know? And there's an Arneson family down there I still talk to a lot. Some of the people that lived in Grand Isle I was really good friends with. I went and built furniture for a gentleman down there for a while. And then I also realized two things. Number one, I thought foolishly that if the world knew something about an injustice, if you're able to get the word out there, then
people will care.
In turn, somebody would give a shit, care at all, or fix the problem. That's not true.
They don't care.
And the other thing is
not
like,
typically,
you know,
everybody's too busy.
No, and there's always another emergency. But the other thing is, you know, I made lifelong friends that we fought together, and so you know. That time ends, and I'd done everything I could, and the last thing I was going to do was show this film at Howlin' Wolf, and I had a bunch of musicians set up to play that weekend, and I was driving down to New Orleans with my computer to make the final edits on this film, and you kind of clean it up a little bit, and then we were going to be Friday night or Saturday, whatever, we're going to go and do that show, and it was going to be like, here, the world's going to see this. Mm-hmm. Well, on the way down, man, I hit an 18-wheeler head on.
Did you fall asleep or?
No,
It's okay. You don't have to share.
No. I don't mind telling a story. So I borrowed my buddy's truck, and it was getting real humid. You know, the roads were like sweating. It was going to rain real hard. And, you know, LA1 was
slick.
It's real slick, but there's a bunch of weird turns, and man, it's just like super.
You were heading towards Marksville?
No, I was heading to Grand Isle.
Oh, to Grand Isle in LA1. I'm sorry.
So I'm heading down there
South,
by the shipyard. It's all weavy. There's cane fields and stuff. And, man, 18-wheeler comes around the corner, and I'm just blinded by these brights. That whole window lights up. I can't see anything. So I panic and hit the brakes. And I don't know. I borrowed my buddy's truck, you know. Hit the brakes, got sideways. When I straightened it out, boom, man. And I don't remember much after that except for telling that truck driver. I use that.
You can say what you need.
I use that quote off that Billy Bob Thornton movie. You better get an ambulance or a hearse. I was kind of joking, but he didn't think I was funny because I didn't realize how messed up I was. And steering column came through my hip, and my arm was kind of hanging off. And in that moment, I was like, I don't know if it's, people could say adrenaline or God or whatever, but in that moment, I was, it was like the worst pain I ever felt. Like, it just felt like everything was cracked. Like, my ankles were messed up under there, all that. And dude, it was like a blanket fell over me or something, and that pain left. And at the same time, it wasn't like some words. It was just like I could see myself walking, and the phrase "you'll be 100% healed," and me walking down the road. But it felt like how it feels to walk now. I can't explain all that. I don't know what that is, but I knew I had a hell of a lot of work to do, and I was at the mercy of the charity hospital system in New Orleans. So next morning, looked out the window at the Superdome, and it was uphill. So
how long before you got to move?
Well, what happened is that they didn't, you know, I took more surgeries and time to rest. So one of my buddies that I was in the guard with, he had just finished equipping part of his house for his parents were going to move in, and his dad was handicapped. And so, bruh, I needed every handicap rail for a while. Yeah. And it was like, sure, the same stuff a lot of veterans have to go through, or Evil Knievel had to go through or whatever, dude. It was just like, all right, this is just going to suck until I figure everything out. So, I went on this hike years and years before in Glacier Park where I felt real close to the heavens, and that's where I decided to move to. And then,
so you by yourself just moved to East Montana?
Yep.
No.
I had to go, man. I felt like I had lost that fight.
You found you a place up there, or you just temporarily?
Took a little while.
Yeah.
So, I'm kind of like broke up and,
yeah. It's got to be hard.
I just had to let go of everything and move up there. So I think I had $1,000 in my pocket. And
oh, Lord.
I was on the crutches still. And that first summer, they took pity. My friends have a ranch that I know them pretty well now. They're like, hey, just stay in that extra room, dude, and figure it out. And I did. So I started playing little $100 gigs here and there. And
got your arm working again, obviously.
Yeah. Because, at first, man, I thought, like, for 3 days that my fingers wouldn't work.
Oh, Lord.
And I was like, dude, I hope that comes back. I said, it probably will. Well, that ain't very comforting,
Yeah.
But I couldn't fret at all, dude. And
wow.
And also, they had a big piece of metal in here. But anyway, I end up heading to the Seated Strip on a Blackfeet reservation, and I went to the college that following semester because I wanted to learn a little bit of the language. And the guy that taught me, I still work for him. We do videos and we do music with kids, teach them how to play music, but also we record songs in Blackfoot so they can learn the language.
Mm-hmm.
Now I got a little 6-year-old Blackfoot Cajun daughter, and it's good, man.
She's beautiful.
Yeah, she's beautiful. She's pretty tough. I'm excited about getting home to see her Monday, but man, I think it's just sometimes you don't know why, but you get knocked on your ass and you either get up or you don't, dude. It's like all them boys that we wrote songs with.
Yeah.
They got a choice. You either get up or you don't.
Yeah.
And at some point, man, you gotta make the decision that you're gonna figure out how to deal with this stuff that's been holding you back, that weight, like in the song. So
yep.
So I don't know, man, if that means anything to anybody else, but that's why I moved up there, and since then I've been able to. I used to I don't know, with that oil spill, I don't like getting my ass kicked. I don't like feeling like we weren't able to really make a difference in the lives of the people that
I don't agree with that.
That were our first responders. I don't agree
with that, though.
Yeah, but
you made a difference. It just might not feel on a grand scale.
We probably cost BP a couple $1 billion for them health claims for sure, but really,
good.
Have we protected people for future spills? That's what I would like to know. Did we make it safer for the cats that jumped off the rigs? I don't know.
I don't know about that part of it, but I did do a lot of traveling and research. And I'm not going to speak to it as if I'm an expert, but I know there's been a lot of buildup of protective barriers. There's been a lot of, and there's a lot of controversy going on about some of the land falling apart,
it's falling. Man, we went.
Yeah, you look at the maps.
Elmer's Island.
Scary. Oh yeah.
Man, we planted freaking 1,000 mangroves on that rascal. Hurricane came the next year. Took
them all away.
Oh, dude.
A lot of work going.
Well, but you got to keep trying, I guess.
They have. I think there's some. I think with technology and they're doing a better job at it. They've created a nice right at that where Highway 1 changes and goes to below sea level. Yeah. They've put a nice barrier there because I've driven that a ton now.
But here's the problem, and that's great. All that's great, but the sad part is
now that
people that I did that for can't afford to live down there anymore. That's the sad part.
Well, in Grand Isle, it's different. That's tourist attraction.
Well, it is now, but it wasn't quite that bad.
No.
But South Plaque, man, them boys are all in trailers, little bitty trailers now. When
it's work trailers, right?
I guess it's life, but.
Well, I did some construction down there. We got a contract one time to do a thing in Buras, and we were part of building a school that had housing attached to it for the teachers.
That's a big ass school. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, and we couldn't. It's massive. Yeah, I wasn't on it long because I didn't do a real good job at that kind of work. I just was. It was mainly managing. I couldn't get I couldn't get workers. I mean, to go all the way down there to do stucco, and I was housing them. They were housing them in those. Of course, I was working for a general contractor that was kind of shady. He ended up screwing me out of some money, so it was that's why I stopped doing
South Platte, dude.
Yeah, but my point is that they had to build housing for the teachers because they couldn't get teachers there.
Yeah, they didn't have any place for them to stay.
Right, so they'd have to house them for the week, and they'd either go back to New Orleans or they'd stay there full time. But it's always been a challenge in that part of the state. It's not something new. I think a lot of people have moved out, and Susan even wrote a book about this that happened in the early days, in the 30s or 20s. When was it, Susie?
20s.
In the 20s. And what's the name of it again? Blood Moon Over Bohemia. A little plug for Susan Mustafa. Check that out, y'all. And it is about a culture that was forced out of their area by the building of a levee. And so I think, this is not something that has just begun by no means. And BP isn't the only, their oil spill isn't the only thing that's caused it to happen. I think it's been going on for a long time.
Oh, no doubt, but it was definitely another nail in the coffin.
Oh yeah, for sure.
For the people that were trying to make a living off the land,
And it is. I mean, it sucks that it happened. And I think whatever regulations that are been put into place or not been put into place enough on them. I mean, I think it's something we have to have. We have to become independent from an oil standpoint. In my opinion, we can't be relying on other people for that. It just
sucks that we're ruled by multinational corporations instead.
Right. Weren't we talking about that with the record industry a minute ago? I mean, that's kind of it's across a lot of sectors, and so the best thing we can do. I always try to do this. What can I control? What can I actually do? And I do that. And like you helping down there, with people, you may not feel like it made a huge impact. I bet it made a much bigger impact than you can even consider.
Well, it was
just like the songwriting. It was just
a natural extension when I got out of the Guard. We're used to going.
That's
is
what
there
y'all
a hurricane?
did. Yeah,
let's go down there. So it was like being in the Guard, but just not getting paid.
So what years were you in the Guard?
It was in 95 to like 01, 02, right before Iraq too.
Did you get Hurricane George? Did you get activated for that one? We just went to Jackson Barracks and sat and waited and watched the rain come down.
I went to one where we sat in the Superdome and I drove around New Orleans. It was before Katrina, obviously.
Yeah.
And then nobody wanted to eat hot dogs.
I just wondered if we were activated on the same activation.
Did somebody shoot themselves in the foot on that one? Like somebody literally shot themselves.
I was not. Not privy probably to that information, but I know that the one I volunteered, admittedly I had broken up with a girl and I was trying to get away from her. And so I volunteered. She was such a sweetheart too. So I was a terrible guy for that. But I went to, I was like, yeah, there's a hurricane. I'm volunteering for duty right now. I'll be your fuel pumper. Cause I was a petroleum supply. So, but yeah, you and I were in the Guard at the same time.
Yeah.
And so what unit were you in?
I was in Abbeville. I was a medic over there.
What was that? Is that 10-8?
2156.
2156. I got you. So we were part of 156.
So we were mechanized up until I think they took all the Bradleys away after the Second Gulf War.
Okay.
And I was inactive, ready reserve. I didn't have to go. And
same.
What's that?
Same for me.
Oh yeah. I mean, they would have had to spend a lot of money to get me trained up, I guess, again, but I don't, that's a whole other story, man, but we can, go into why Katrina was so bad, and mostly it's because our National Guard was mostly in Iraq, dude,
Yeah.
And so what do you do?
Yeah, my brother was here, though. He was still here. They had we did have a lot there. I don't know. That's not a conversation we need to get into.
That's not a quick one either.
No, let's not do that.
The point is, you want to feel like we're more and more prepared for things that we know are coming. And really, we've been pretty lucky this hurricane season so far.
So I'll tell you this.
I
happen to know firsthand who the head of GOSEP is, the Governor's Office of Homeland Security and Emergency Preparedness. And that I think he's a general. I'm pretty sure he's now a general. Well, he was a full bird, obviously.
Sure.
That gentleman, I don't want to speak those guys' names on camera, but he is extremely experienced in emergency preparedness and has been part of it since Katrina. He's a high speed individual.
Yeah, and also like Cajun Navy, what they do now, they've come a long way. The current organization.
Yep, I'm proud to see them on the national level, seeing where they've gone. But I mean, the Guard and GOSEP they have two different missions, and Guard just recently took over GOSEP. That just happened recently, and for what reasons doesn't matter. But I happen to know the head of, a lot of the Guard side just because of my family members that are involved, and there's a lot of combined experience in emergency preparedness. So they go in, they'll clear those trees, they handle all that, and then the electrical company will come in and get all electric. There's as far as prep is concerned, they're doing a lot of preparation to try to keep. And we don't have a lot of deployments. We have constant deployments going on right now, but they're not large deployments. They're smaller deployments. So we're prepped, and our retention numbers are at some of the top they've been in years from the Guard standpoint. So it's good to see that that structure is in place and ready to be executed if necessary.
Yes, sir.
It's hard to know. You just don't know if you're not around.
And also, until you have the emergency, what's going to break, dude?
Yeah. I mean,
whether that's a levee or a piece of equipment or whatever, what are you really going to need, and how is it scalable? Because,
Well, after having conversation with my family member who has been in war and commanded wars, he's told me that bullets ain't flying, people ain't dying. So the stress level is not there. It's kind of like, if once you've been through the worst of stuff, emergencies are just, assess and execute. Assess, rescue, and, execute. And so I think we have a very, very strong leadership team guiding that side of things. So I think we're good to go. But I mean, hell, if you live in Houma or you live in Port Fourchon or you live in Buras, you're right there waiting to be hit by a hurricane regardless. And there's only so much the Guard can do. There's only so much. They can't go in there and stop a hurricane.
If you decide to ride it out in Grand Isle, you might not be around after it's done.
Yeah, I mean, it's as simple as that.
I mean, it takes quite a while to get that.
But have you been to Grand Isle since in a while?
2 years ago, maybe.
It looks like a resort now.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. I was there a month ago.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely beautiful. I love the amount of, I mean, I know, again, the people that were living there before probably aren't the same people.
Yeah.
But on your way down, you do have, some towns that are still regular fishermen, and I know the purchase price is a lot lower than it used to be what they were paying for it. For fresh shrimp, and that's been a pain point pretty heavy.
Yeah.
For your local fishermen.
Well, I mean, life changes, man. Demographics change, and this and that, and and that's a sad part of, getting old. Not only does time fly by, but you can't go back to a place in time, man. You can remember it.
Yeah.
And you can call those people that were there, but it's a memory,
Yeah.
So.
Well, one of the steps, we talked about this before, Crawfish is trying to, there's a few associations trying to get a law passed in the state that they're going to do a certified Louisiana crawfish sticker on the bags.
Yeah.
That's what they do with shrimp.
Yeah.
There's a law in Louisiana for shrimp and maybe oysters also, I think, where it's certified. So if you say as an advertisement, say the local restaurant, serving Louisiana's finest crawfish, you can't say that if you're not buying. And so they're trying to push out the Chinese crawfish and the imported seafood, which would only, in my opinion, increase the amount of need for fishermen, and for commercial, gaming. Not gaming, commercial fishermen, shrimpers and whatnot, that kind of stuff. I don't know what to call them, but it would increase that in my opinion, it would increase that industry. What the hell do I know? But
Yeah.
it feels like if you have a bigger demand, you're gonna have to find people to
You got to get them working
to increase that supply. So anyways, we're gonna go in the studio tomorrow.
Yeah, bro.
We're gonna cut this song. What's the title of the song? Because I was curious about that. Ain't going back. I ain't going back.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I'm excited about it, and we'll bring it to the public on our website, and we're not going to put it out on Spotify or YouTube unless we want to do some kind of promotional pieces with it. We may do that for the for the organization's purposes,
Sure.
but you'll be able to find it on our website, sosmusic.org.
All right.
That's Songs of Survivors website. And Drew, how do they find you online?
I just got drewlandry.com, Drew Landry Music. I don't know.
You were able to get drewlandry.com?
I had it before, and then I forgot to renew it, so I had to buy it back for like $300. But it took a while for it to go down to where it's affordable. But there's another.
That's awesome, though, that you were able to get. That's an easy name to remember. DavidSaintRomain.com
That's true. That's true.
Gets a little bit hard to like. How do you spell Romaine?
Yeah.
But Drew Landry, that seems like a pretty easy one.
Yeah.
So drewlandry.com, you got a new record coming out, or it just came out?
Well, digitally it'll be out in November, and
Okay, so it hasn't come out
digitally,
yet.
it's kind of like it's
Yeah, it
not
hasn't
out
come
yet.
out yet. So it comes out in November.
Yeah, so
we're
I'll
gonna
be
find
back.
a single on there. We're gonna figure out how to get it onto some radio.
Yeah, man.
And we'll help getting the word out through our team, because we're supporting you.
Yeah, man. And I think we should put the tune we did out, and it should raise money.
Well, we could put it out.
Raise money for the cause.
We
man.
might be able to talk about that and see if it's a good fit with you.
We'll see how it sounds after we get out.
No, I think we're gonna sound pretty good, bro.
Yeah, we got a great group of guys to record.
And you'll be back in November to do this again.
Yeah,
Dude, that's amazing.
I'm excited about it.
You're a blessing.
All I can say is hopefully there's more donuts and songwriting down the line, dude. I appreciate y'all. So.
Well, that's awesome. Well, thanks again. We'll wrap up with that. Dude, thank you so much. I appreciate you, Drew.
Yeah, man.
All right, brother. God bless.